Welcome to the Explainer. Qualcomm just dropped a blockbuster quarter, but the real story here isn't just the headline numbers. It's about how their rock-solid core business is now funding a massive, high-stakes bet on the future of AI. We're going to break down exactly what this means for you as an investor. All right, let's jump straight into the big number. Qualcomm just reported Q4 revenues of a whopping $11.3 billion.
And look, this wasn't just a small beat. They absolutely crushed expectations, blowing right past the high end of their very own guidance. Wall Street loves to see that.
Now here's the proof that their big diversification strategy is really paying off. You know, the one they've been talking about for years? Well, their combined automotive and IoT revenues shot up 27% year over year for the fiscal year. This isn't a promise anymore, folks. It's a reality. So what are they doing with all this success? They're going big. They are making a bold, multi-billion-dollar bet on a whole new market, taking aim right at the heart of the AI revolution, the data center. Okay, so let's break this all down. First up, we've got to talk about their core engine, handsets. Because honestly, this foundational business is a powerhouse, and it's a lot stronger than many people on the street seem to realize. So you might be asking yourself, how on earth is their handset business still growing when the overall smartphone market is basically flat? It's a great question, and it's the key question for investors right now. Well, it really boils down to two things. First, that high-end premium Android market, it's actually expanding. And second, Qualcomm is packing more powerful and therefore more valuable technology into every single one of those premium devices. And hey, don't just take my word for it. The CEO, Cristiano Amon, said it point blank on the earnings call. He said, and I'm quoting here, "The upside we have in the handsets is primarily driven by the Android premium tier." That's as clear as it gets, straight from the top. Okay, so the handset business is the strong foundation, but what's really exciting for investors is what they're building on top of it. This is where we see that diversification plan isn't some future promise. It is happening right now. Just take a look at these numbers from their main chip segment. I mean, wow. Automotive revenue just smashed through a huge milestone, crossing $1 billion in a single quarter for the very first time. That is significant. And this chart really paints the picture, doesn't it? You can see how automotive and IoT are becoming these massive, multi-billion-dollar businesses in their own right. This is huge because it means Qualcomm is becoming less and less dependent on the ups and downs of the handset cycle. So where is this growth coming from? It's from major design wins. The CEO pointed out they've hit a huge milestone with their new Snapdragon Ride Pilot, which is their full end-to-end system for automated driving. This is the kind of stuff that locks in revenue for years. All right, now for the main events. Let's talk about their most ambitious play yet, the move that could really redefine the company. We're talking about their high-risk, high-reward gamble on the AI data center. Now, to be clear, they're not trying to boil the ocean here. They are surgically targeting a very specific and frankly exploding part of the market, AI inference. So what exactly is AI inference? Well, simply put, it's not about training the giant AI models. It's about using them. It's what happens every single time you ask an AI a question or use an AI-powered app. It's all about running those models efficiently at a massive scale. So how are they going to compete with the giants already in this space? Well, their whole strategy is right here. They're not trying to win on raw horsepower alone. They are competing on efficiency. They're making the case that the future of AI isn't just about power, it's about performance per watt and the total cost of ownership. And honestly, the CEO summed up their entire game plan in one perfect sentence. He said, "It's all going to be about generating the most amount of tokens with the least amount of power, and that's our right to play." That says it all. Maximum AI output, minimum power input. Okay, so we've covered the core business, the diversification wins, and the big AI bet. Let's bring it all home with the final take. What do the numbers say, and what's the path forward from here?
Well, the Q4 numbers really speak for themselves. This was just a fundamentally strong quarter across the board. We're seeing double-digit growth in non-GAAP revenue and, more importantly for shareholders, double-digit growth in earnings per share.
And they are not expecting this to slow down. In fact, their guidance for the next quarter is huge. They're guiding for what could be a record first quarter, with the midpoint for revenue sitting at $12.2 billion. The momentum is clearly there. So this is the final question you have to ask yourself as an investor. You've got a rock-solid core business, you have proven growth drivers in auto and IoT that are firing on all cylinders, and on top of all that, you have this massive new bet on AI. So the real question isn't just, was this a good quarter? It's, is Qualcomm at a major inflection point, entering a whole new era of growth? That's the thesis you need to decide on.